Hello students and everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you English grammar, clauses and phrases. A clause is a related group of words that have both a subject and a verb. A clause is a group of words that makes a complete sense. It contains a subject and a predicate. A clause can stand alone in a sentence. There are two types of clauses. They are independent clause, which means main clause or principal clause, and dependent clause, which means subordinate clause. An independent clause or main clause can stand alone in a sentence. It has its own subject and predicate. A dependent clause, which means subordinate clause, cannot stand alone in a sentence. It must be joined with an independent clause to form a sentence. A dependent clause also has its own subject and predicate. A dependent clause requires main clause which can stand alone in a sentence. Examples of clauses are when I reached home. The word when is the subordinator, I is the subject, reached home is the predicate. When I reached home is the dependent clause. A dependent clause also has a subordinator. The doors were opened. The doors is the subject, where opened is the predicate. The doors were opened is the independent clause or main clause. Put it down. Put it down is the independent clause or main clause which the subject you is understood. A phrase is a related group of words that do not have a subject and a verb. A phrase is a group of words that does not make a complete sense. A phrase does not have its subject and predicate. It cannot stand alone in a sentence. Examples of phrases are number 1, the girl with long hair. In this type of sentence, there is noun the girl and phrase with long hair. In noun phrase, there is noun plus phrase. The girl with long hair is the noun phrase. Next is singing. Is the auxiliary verb. Singing is the ing verb. If there is an auxiliary verb and other verb, so the phrase is a verb phrase. Is singing is the verb phrase. Next, very loudly. The words very and loudly are adverbs. If there is an adverb, the phrase is an adverb phrase. Very loudly is an adverb phrase. Next, in the school. The word in is the preposition. If there is a preposition, the phrase is a prepositional phrase. In the school is the prepositional phrase. Remember the points and differences between phrases and clauses. Phrases do not contain a subject and a predicate. Clauses contain a subject and a predicate. Phrases cannot convey a complete thought. Clauses can sometimes convey a complete thought. Phrases cannot stand alone. Independent clauses can stand alone, but dependent clauses cannot stand alone. Let's begin an exercise now. Identify whether the underlined groups of words are phrases or clauses. First one, put the cups on the desk. The underlined words on the desk is the phrase. Next, I know a woman who works in Delhi Police. The underlined words who works in Delhi Police is the clause. Next, planets revolve around the sun. The underlined words around the sun is the phrase. Next, she studied under the street light. The underlined words under the street light is the phrase. Next, I have no clue what he did with those funds. The word what is the subordinator, he is the subject, did with those funds is the predicate. So the underlined words what he did with those funds is the clause. If you understood English grammar, clauses and phrases, give us the feedback or comments. Subscribe the channel, like and share. Thank you.